So I've been playing Pokemon since 2011, and while I might not have been the most competitive since day one, I was part of the competitive circuit. I attended states and regionals and nationals, even in my first season competing. I didn't naturally do the best at them, but I just went for the sake of going. And Pokemon has evolved and grown significantly since then. So while the game and the growth of the game has exploded, some things have taken a step back in the Pokemon TCG, and I kind of wanted to talk about today, like some of the things that Pokemon took away, I want to say, from the competitive circuit that I think I would like to see reintroduced or introduced as a whole if they weren't a part of the circuit already. My name is Rahul Reddy. I'm a competitive TCG player. If you guys are new here and not part of the channel, and just here as a different card game spectator or just a Pokemon enthusiast in general, I talk about all things Pokemon as much as I can and try to get you up to competitive speed. And today I made a tweet. Well, not today. I made this tweet yesterday. And this is something that I'm going to go on each bullet point and explain in more depth what I mean by this and exactly what my vision for it is, because some of my comments are getting a little bit misconstrued, and I think I've attracted some of the collector player base that isn't so privy to the knowledge that I'm talking about. So if you're a collector and you don't have a ton of competitive output, please let me know if this helps elaborate or clarify the points I'm trying to make. So the first point that I wanted to make, and this all comes from a point of like, I would like there to be more of an incentive for players that isn't just a world championship. So if you're a competitive player in the Pokemon TCG, right now there is no middle ground between I am playing for improvement and maybe trying to win a cup or something and for fun and then world championships. Like there's no in between if you're not just chasing money. Like sure you can top 32 regionals to get $1,000. Sure that's like a good incentive overall. Like increasing the money in the prize pool was an amazing thing that they did, given that the size of tournaments are increasing at a exponential rate at this point. But that's not necessarily something that everyone can think about. Like if you go into your first regionals, there's going to be like 2,000 competitors, and looking at top 32, you're going to need to get like a 10-3-2 record. And like most regional competitors are there just to try to break even or even score a couple of wins under their belt. So that incentive of I need to win the whole tournament or like even get deep enough to potentially win the whole tournament to win a little bit of money is not really a great incentive for players. And if you're not qualified going for the World Championships at this stage in the season, we always see a significant drop off in player base because players just have nothing left to play for until the next season picks back up again, unless they're playing for the love of the game, which is completely fair. Now, going to a regionals, for example, you still are awarded a playmat that changes per regional and a promo card, which I think are a great inclusion and a great way to start newer players off. But the entry fees for regionals have been going up and up and up, which I agree, I understand with the cost of venues and stuff, but there needs to be more added to that pool. Same with League Cups. League Cups have been going up as well. And something I'm going to bring up down the line is that there used to be promos handed out to everyone for entering a League Cup that are no longer being handed out or given out. And I'm going to harken on back on that as well. So let's start over here with the first point I want to make. So promo card at X placement at individual events, similar to playmats. Maybe we have, so if you get top 8 at regionals, you get a top 8 playmat. If you win a regionals, you get a top champion playmat. And these are only for top 8 and top 32s. So maybe you don't even go as deep as some of the people are asking for, but maybe like a regional stamped just top 32 card or an exclusive art card for top 32 or top 8. For some players, it's like a trophy. And some players, they could take it to the secondary market. I'm going to compare it to One Piece a little bit and show you guys what I mean by this when we get there. But the biggest thing about this point here is like there's going to be collectors. There's going to be people who want this. And people use things like the gray felt hat Pikachu in my comments to be like, well, this is a bad example of why. Like, it's an example of why exclusive promo cards shouldn't be a thing. But the biggest difference between that and this is that the card will always end up in the hands of the competitor first. You are not putting it at stake for like random collectors to go all the way to Amsterdam or try to spam a website and get a bunch of stuff going. You are instead handing Rahul Reddy, who just got 23rd at the regionals, here's your card, here is your booster box. You can do what you want with this card from here on out. It happens at World Championships. Let me talk about what I mean by this. So One Piece is a great model that I want to encapsulate. So for each regional you play, you get participation packs. Now, the participation packs are the same as potentially like our mat and promo. I think this could be equivalent in that grand scheme where you have these 4 cards, a pool of 4 cards, and you can get one of the 2 from or 1 card in each of the packs. Good little gamba for everyone involved. If you get top 5-12, you get very simply just a Dawn card for events of 1,024 or more. So the equivalent of this for us would be, let's say you get a top 512. Sure, prizing out would be a little bit of a nightmare, but let's say you get top 512 at regionals, you're getting points, but why not just have a stamped energy card? Just some sort of stamped energy card, something that's so basic that it doesn't really significantly affect the secondary market. 512 energy cards are going to be given out, not a full pack, just could be one random energy type. Something that just incentivizes players to be like, I got top 512 my first regionals, I got a regional stamped energy. And this could be the same energy card or the same energy like pattern for an entire season, meaning the first regionals that happens in like September all the way to the last regionals that happens in May will have the exact same regional stamped energies for top 512. So at some point you're going to get sick of getting these energies, but it makes it so the secondary market is not expensive with these. And it's also a nice memento for some players who might have picked up 512 at their first regionals or something otherwise. Event packs for top 512 as well as what something One Piece does. You get these 1 of 4 card pools. Again, I don't think that's completely necessary, but it is a good incentive. And then like the deeper you go, for example, see like top 526, you get a sleeve pack, which could also be done by Pokemon. 128, another Dawn card here, which is the equivalent of energy in this game. So let's say now you have 128, you get 2 random energy cards. Awesome. You get top 64, you get an exclusive Pudding card. Do they have the art down here? They do not, but it's like an exclusive different art that can only be available via something like this and a regional. And there's a finalist set that's laid out for top 32. And this finalist set is you get all 4 of these cards stamped with the stamp finalist on them. If this loads. I'm sure you guys can see the stamp a little bit. Yeah, there it is, a finalist. But that doesn't take too much to do. So let's just say you get top 16. Let's just say you get top 32. In addition to the $1,000, maybe you just get a stamped set. Just not even a set, just a stamped card that says top 32 on it. That says top 8 on it when you do regionals. Like they do top 8 IC promos. They do top 8 regional promos. Why is it so difficult to add these layers to a different set? Like I just think the energy card idea is such an interesting and easy thing to do. Top 16 gets another different promo card. Top 8 gets another different promo card. And One Piece does serial cards, which I think would be really cool for Pokemon to add a different layer to it. But I don't know like how they would implement it exactly. Like they do a serial Shanks. There's only 1,000. And so across the whole season, you'll get a numbered Shanks that's your own one if you top 8 at regionals or place, it better at a different event. You'll get one that says like maybe number 143 or something, and that is your Shanks. So like you are individually labeled to that Shanks. You can get rid of it, do what you want with it. This increases the secondary market, adds no extra prize, like doesn't cost a penny out of Pokemon's pocket, adds an extra layer of things for people to look for and hunt for. Yeah, this is basically what I'm talking about. Like one of my people in the comments, Log, talks about how you can always use new arts for stuff. You could talk about like a top 8 Tina V-Star or like a top 8 Arc V-Star, maybe a card that's so encompassing. Like I'm sure the Mew people would have loved to play a top 8 Mew card. Back then, also when you would win a league challenge, you would get a victory medal card that said winner on it. There was a second place one, there was a third place one. These are some of the coolest cards that ever existed, but they have been discontinued. So in the Worlds promos look almost identical to this, but they would have some sort of like stamp on them. Like the world's top 32 ones have stamps on them, and so it's like kind of like this, but you would have a stamp for maybe just making day 2 of Worlds, something, etc. And I think someone in the comments also mentioned the World Championships and how some of the cards shouldn't exist. And what I think my counter caveat argument is, I think the Worlds promo should be a Worlds promo because it is exclusive. It is something that someone has earned. They have put their blood, sweat, and tears into a full season, and so they should be able to walk away and potentially make a profit on it if they want to. They worked hard for this. Why not try to break even on your season? With that being said, I think Worlds cards as a whole should be bought for prestige and glory and all that stuff. So there should be a functional reprint. So if this is a Paradise Resort card, retreat cost of each side, I can play whatever. Just reprint this card with a different stadium name that doesn't say Worlds on it. Functional reprint, card gets to be played by everyone that's available. But this card doesn't get devalued in terms of like collectors. This is an example of the World's top 4 cards. This is something that, like, this is like the equivalent of our serial cards, of One Piece's serial cards, but this only exists in the scope of the World Championships. There is a champion card for ICs and a top 8 card otherwise, but these cards go for somewhere close to 6 figures, ungraded. And this is a collection of all of the number 1, 2, 3 trainers until 4 that someone has actually accrued in the world. Like somebody owns all of these cards for every year, And you can see that each year is radically different, and some players who have these stand to make an absolute killing. You can change your entire life with the amount of money that these make. Why not let our competitors have that opportunity? So league challenges, my next point here was, same vein as before, bring back the placement cards for challenges and promos for cup entry. Why do we ever get rid of those? I still have my Volcarona from winning a league challenge. I think it's super neat. So back in the day, I'm not even going to say that far back in the day, like right before COVID ended, if you placed at a league challenge, meaning you got first, second, third, or fourth at a league challenge, you were walking away with at least 10 points, right? But you would also walk away with a promo card for each league challenge quarter. Now, I think this changed every month for challenges, and I think for cups, it was every quarter. So every 3 months, the cups would change for promos. Now, cup promos were just for entry. So you would show up, you'd get a promo card. There was no champion card for cups, which I think is fine. Like, you don't have to add every layer everywhere, but, pick a lane Pokemon. Like, if you're going to do champ cards for challenges, why not do them for cups as well? Again, there's so many cups, there's so many challenges. This doesn't add anything to the secondary market. These are some examples of like the first place cards. It would say first, second, third, or fourth on the card here, and it would differentiate third from fourth, which I thought was really cool. There was a Mew, there was Lucamines, there was things like Malamar. I actually have 2 first place and 2 second place Malamars in my Malamar deck that's still built from COVID. And none of the cards in there actually like ended up being used after COVID, so that deck is still built as is, and it has like the league promo, like escape boards, quick balls, like stuff like that in there, which I like genuinely like. I think it was just like a cool, like I like stamps. I'm a big stamp guy, and I think it's like just cool for people to have these. This is what a League Club promo would look like. Very simple, just like a rev foiling with like a stamp. It's like basically like your prize pack cards. So this would now probably become a Cosmo foil. Or just imagine like, and Pokemon did a great job back then of picking cards that were competitively viable. So imagine you go to a tournament now, and let's just say Nest Ball is, well, Nest Ball is our IC promo. So let's say a card that's played in, I don't know what's a card that's played in like pretty much every deck, but it would have to be a card that's like universally played in a lot of decks, and you would just get it and be like, cool, I just got my promo card for this. Like, and now if you play 4 League Cups, you get them, and if you're going to play a bunch of League Cups over the course of the quarter, you're going to get a ton. So it's like, I don't know, it's a really cool way for people to just have something to take home with them, even if they don't do well. And like maybe you can sell this for like $5, $6. Like, I'm just talking from like a market perspective. Maybe you stand to make a couple dollars here and there. Ultra Ball is another one. Like, that's another good one. They could reprint, do it again. Pokegear is one that everyone loved, and it's still one of the more expensive ones. I think I use these gears. Like, I think they're beautiful. Next up, the LCQ at Worlds. I think offering up 8 spots for people who are willing to travel all the way to Hawaii should be a fun part to add to their experience, especially the open is a confirmed add-on to the event. Okay, so first, before I jump into what the last chance qualifier is, it is something that used to happen way, way, way back in the day. I believe 2014 was the last time it happened, and it was replaced by, or not replaced by, but I think the open took its spot. So the last chance, I'll go into what it is first. What is the last chance qualifier? So back in the day, there was 4 ways to get your World Championship invite. The previous year's finishers, TCG, video game, whatever game you're in, the top 4 players will receive an automatic invitation to the next year's World Championship along with a paid trip. So everyone from this past year's Worlds, this still holds true, will be attending this year's Worlds as a competitor. National champions was a way back then. For us, it's IC champions and regional champions now get a free ticket to the World Championships. The third route is championship points, which is the most common route for a lot of players to attend. But Route 4, this is the 2014 Worlds page, by the way. Route 4 is cut from the system now. The last chance qualifier was players' one final opportunity to make cut. This is the day before the World Championship, so the Friday before Worlds. Every player would play a best of 3 single elimination bracket all the way until there was 8. Some years 4. In 2014 it was 4 players remaining, and those final players would be allowed into the World Championships to compete the following day. Are you not entertained? Like, it is one of the most exhilarating things to watch. Some amazing storylines have been crafted from there. The 2013 World Champion Jason Klasinski was a player who made it through the last chance qualifier in the trading card game and then ended up winning the entire event. Those kinds of storylines, they don't write themselves, you know? Like, it's one of those things that we would miss. However, I fully acknowledge the logistics standpoint from event planning, where Pokemon has already now made the World Championships a 3-day event for all-day competitors. So we already show up on Friday to play, no matter what happens. Saturday is another day of playing, and then Sunday is Championship Sunday. So this would have to make us come in Thursday, or they would have to severely shrink the amount of Worlds competitors to allow this to happen, which I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing. You can't really go back from where we are. We saw the backlash coming into this season as soon as they made the invite harder than it was previous years. However, I think we're going to have a pretty similar number of people qualify anyway. Yeah, so I think this is like a little bit of a pipe dream for me, because I'm just someone who enjoys like that kind of competition. But in 2015, the Open was kind of what took its spot, and I think that took up the staffing and whatever. But as of last year, I don't know if they'll really bring back an Open. But I do think, like someone in my comments, I think it was Liam, mentioned that there should be more accessible side events for a lot of players, the World Championships, that can just go and enjoy their experience and do stuff. Because in Japan, it was really hard to play stuff. In London, it was really hard to play stuff as well. So yeah. But one thing I want to mention is the last time a last chance qualifier was held was not that long ago. It was as soon as 2022. The Pokemon Go and I think Pokken both had a last chance qualifier where the top 2 players in each division would be allowed in to the main event on Friday. So this was something that took place on Thursday. So the staff does exist for something like this. However, Go and Pokken were 2 games that are very small in how many people wanted to attend and play. So compared to something like TCG, where I think we would break like 1,000 people pretty easily if they were allowed to play, and same with VGC, like maybe we'd hit like 1,000 people there as well if that was allowed. It would be a little bit of a disaster and a nightmare to staff people a day early, have the venue a full day early. And Thursday is also the check-in day for a lot of players. So players are going to be doing, like, you need to split your staff between check-in now and the LCQ. And, you know, it's a logistical nightmare. So I acknowledge that, like, that point of mine is a pipe dream. I think right now leagues are doing a great job of support. Like, there are promos being given out. There's like a whole month of June where there's going to be fun promos being handed out, even if you don't compete for any like championship points or anything, which I think is cool. Keep that going. Keep that chugging. Prize packs is an amazing thing for players, I think. And there's a lot of ways for players to enter competitive. Now, the final thing I wanted to talk about is play point rewards. This is something that existed when I was first starting, and I don't know what year they cut them off. If someone knows in the comments, please let me know. Because I was really young, so I don't really remember when they stopped doing them. But I found this in the PokeBeach article in March. So this was from the player rewards page. And basically what this is like, so you get play points for attending tournaments. You get 1 point for league, 1 point for challenges, 1 point for cups, 3 points for regionals, 3 points for ICs, I think 5 points for worlds. Now, what does this do for the overall season? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Pokemon, for the first time in years, called on that play point system this year for NAIC registration specifically to allow priority registration for masters under the age of 18 who are over a certain play point threshold that we don't know what that number is, but they wanted to make sure that some of these younger players and their guardians could have a chance to attend the event, which I think is completely fair. Now, that being said, my play points are somewhere in the 300. Like, I'm like 300th in play points this season. So I haven't even played like that much because I don't go to league as much as other players. League is like one point a month, and I just don't go to locals, right? So I don't get those points that other players could. So what play points used to be, and I remember this vividly because I have a couple of these packs still sealed somewhere, because I used to come home from school and they would just be in the mail. If you had 5 or more play points, so super simple, they're just going to mail you a pack of promo cards. Promo energies. Same thing. We talked about the stamped energies. Stamped energies here. 15 or more, you get 3 great promo cards a pack. So like a playset of 3 of the great promo cards and 4 each. What kind of cards you may ask? Like, is it going to be something bad? No. It was cards like Rare Candy, Cynthia's Guidance, Lucian's Assignment, cards that were very, very playable in their heyday. Hypnotoxic Laser, Verbank City, Super Scoop Up, some of these cards that were sent out in the mail to players. And then if you want to go further than that, top 100 will get Play Pokemon sleeves and 2 copies of something super, super playable potentially. And they used to do a Player of the Year thing where the highest ranking player in each division would get a full year's worth of 2 boxes per set, which I think was really cool. Obviously, it's really hard to do that again. And I think there's going to be some shenanigans and people like adding people to leagues that don't exist and stuff like that. So I think that could probably be axed out of the system. But I think like something as simple as like, hey, you got 5 play points. You've been someone who's been attending league. There's so many players in the Pokemon circuit that don't even go to competitive tournaments that would love something like this. Like, imagine you're just like I know so many of my locals that don't even travel, that I see it like every challenge and every cup, and they go to league religiously on like Saturdays, and I just think it would be so cool for them to get something like this in the mail because it's just a nice gesture from Pokemon to do something like this. And this used to all exist. So where is it going? That's just my spiel. I don't really have much more to say than that. I think that these are some things that should just be re-implemented in the system. Let me know if you have any gripes with them in the comments below. I'm sure some people will. Not everyone can be happy with everything I'm saying, but this is what I want. This is just personally what I selfishly want for the community, from my perspective, and that's that. So a little bit of a more serious tone video, a little bit more of a let me ramble, let me yap a little bit. So here's your yapping. Enjoy it, and thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe if you're new and you enjoy this kind of content. Peace.